With TSD Talks.
Welcome back to the Pillar of Garbage, Pillar Past, Pillar podcast. I have, unfortunately, I have to say, I want to start, before we begin, I want to say something. Pillar, I've come to apologize. I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and there's no, I don't know what it was,
but I accept your apology. Well, I'll accept it after you do a little bit more groveling.
Because I spoke to my brother who is the biggest Transformers nerd I know in the world.
Oh, shit, okay.
And
I'm immediately on board for this. Please continue.
And he told me that the Transformers are in fact robots because they were not, they did not evolve. They were created by the Transformer god Primus. So they are robots created by Primus to serve a function.
Does that mean Christians think people are robots?
See, that's a whole other theological discussion, but I think that could be argued, yes. But I also wanted to say that you were right and I was wrong. Yeah. I have to go stupid.
There's a reason it's called the Pillar of Garbage Pillar podcast, not the TSD Talks cast, you know?
Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone. I let you all down.
It's because I know my robots. Yeah. TSD is going to do the rounds. Every single listener, expect him in 4 to 6 weeks. Some, will be knocking on the front door. Cap in hand, Pillar of Garbage. TSD Talks Apology Tour starting now. Get your tickets.
I will still stand by. I think Frankenstein's monster could be argued to be a robot, but I will not argue the Transformer is not being robots point anymore, because they can in fact be both aliens and robots, and I was blind to see that. Yeah,
they're kind of alien robots if you think about it, or maybe even robotic aliens. There's really a whole, the middle section of this Venn diagram is where the magic lives, I think.
Yeah. I was humbled because I cannot argue with him. He is legitimately the only Transformers is his bread and butter. He has he has spent easily thousands of dollars just on Transformers figures and the
he's put his 10,000 hours in.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's watched every TV show and every obscure Japanese anime adaptation of it. He knows his shit. He's seen every single movie multiple times, even though he doesn't like most of them.
Huge.
Yeah, he hates the Michael Bay movies, even though he watches them multiple times. The special interest will do that to you.
Yeah, kind of a love-hate thing, Lacanian jouissance, really. The pleasure and the pain kind of coming together as one.
Yeah. And it's been going on for years now, so so it's not stopping anytime soon. But he has that infinite repository of knowledge on Transformers specifically, which Transformers is a fucking huge franchise. I didn't realize it just how big it was until he got into it. But there's so many different TV shows, and each TV show has its own separate toy line. And they do revamps of those same TV shows toy lines down the line, and so there's different editions of different characters from the same version from the TV show. It's wild.
Transformers for me is one of those things I guess Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe, where it's for more I get how this is a thing and I get how people liked it. But as we pull into decade 4 or 5 of, continuously spinning out, rebooting it, lengthening and widening the universe even more, it starts to kind of stunlock me a little bit.
Someone once described to me
reached the point where there's enough.
Like I don't
hot take maybe. Hot take, I don't know.
I don't fully understand how something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles gets so much like revamped lore and whatever, because that seems like a very limited concept. But
yeah, this is what I mean.
The Transformers, I can see that, because there is basically a whole alien universe that comes with Transformers, and almost universally the least interesting stories, from what I've heard, the least interesting stories are the ones that focus on like people. They're always like they always are apparently at their best when they focus on like the alien, societies that exist within Transformers. And like someone once described it as, I mean,
I must be wrong. I'm willing to admit I'm wrong and accept I'm wrong, because there are the fans. But it just seems a little bit like once you get past the robots in disguise thing, where they kind of transform from one thing to another, it kind of feels like it should be diminishing returns after that point. You're telling me there's other aliens that don't even transform. Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, from what I understand is that like the characters are genuinely really interesting. Apparently, is like where a lot of the appeal comes from. Like Optimus Prime and Megatron as a dynamic. I've seen it done, like, because I've seen a bunch of these like snippets and bits from these shows or whatever, or like movies, and I've actually seen that dynamic done really, really like compellingly, and to the point that you forget these characters are called Megatron and Optimus Prime.
I see. I don't know if I could ever get past that. They are, as you say, they are called Megatron and Optimus Prime.
They're called the Decepticons and the Autobots.
I think I just don't have the imagination for it. It's like, this reminds me of the Cars discussion in the server, the Pillar of Garbage Discord server the other day.
Oh yeah, you're
I kind of keep coming back to the fact that they're cars.
Pillar of Garbage has no imagination. He can't identify with something that doesn't have a human face looking directly at him. He's one of them.
Yeah, I need it to kind of make eye contact.
He's one of those normies.
I'm a sentient content.
He's one of those normies.
For context, for people who aren't on the server, there was a discussion the other day where I think it was basically like some people were sort of trying to like figure out the timeline of like growth between Cars films, of like how it makes sense that X number of years passes and Lightning McQueen, I almost said Steve McQueen there, goes from being this role to that role to the other role, and like trying to do the kind of internal kind of like narrative like timelining stuff. And another user, I think it was Mxcanic, said they're cars, in response to like the question of the ages. And then it kind of developed into this thing where, like, on the one hand, does it behoove us? Will it improve our understanding of the Cars franchise to kind of really get to grips with the chronology and like where these car characters are in their lives? And then on the other hand, the camp that I fell into, and I think I was a little bit in the minority here, was kind of like, they're cars.
I think that it all depends on like the amount of investment you have in the story and the franchise, I guess. Like, because for a lot of people,
but I'd say the same thing for like Bionicle, and I used to love that shit.
Yeah, but used to? Do you still, Pillar? Do you still love Bionicle?
I could rock with Bionicle. I would watch Mask of Light right now. If I had a canister with an unbroken seal with like a Metro Nui line, Toa fucking.
So your argument is less so.
I can't even. Gosh, I'm blanking on the names.
Your argument is less so. They're cars, therefore it doesn't matter. It's more like they're cars, and they probably don't have an analogous like.
It's not that it doesn't matter. It's like when you get a Disney film that kind of anthropomorphizes something like a car, it feels like
they wouldn't have like a human aging scale.
And maybe they would, but it just feels like the presentation of a movie like that, it kind of abstracts the characters away from the sort of beings that, considering like chronology and growth and maturation matters. It feels more like we're in a kind of free play of sort of archetypes that kind of hover between actual realism and personal development, and kind of exist in this sort of fantastical environment where there can be a car who has a face and he talks, and like he goes through life and he changes. But if we start asking questions like how old is Lightning McQueen, then do we not then have to follow up by asking questions like, the older model cars who are older, like how in this universe of cars, like how is the reproductive process carried out? How is the car evolution carried out? How is it that these are cars now of the style we were kind of familiar with 10 or 15 years ago, and there's not the kind of if this is a history where it's been a car society for a while, why are they not getting to EVs by now? Why are there no car Teslas and Cybertrucks?
Well, I think
it just feels like once you open Pandora's car door, Pandora's kind of carbon monoxide vapors are going to kind of swirl outwards and never return kind of from whence they came.
Well, here's the thing, Pillar, is that actually I think you've hit on something, is that there is like a whole genre of internet content specifically about how the fuck the Cars world works and like what it means. Like I cannot tell you how many like YouTube videos, Reddit posts, etc. There's just like a whole community around like trying to figure out how the hell like the world in Cars works. So I think that
that makes sense. If you start down the road of how old are the cars, then that is the place you have to come to. But I'm trying to say that there's a reason the films don't set us down that path, because they don't need to.
There's an infamous example, the one that's like broken out into like mainstream meme culture a couple times from what I know. I say this as if I'm a connoisseur of this community. I'm not. I'm just like, I've just seen it around.
A connoisseur, if you will.
Yeah.
A little bit of a pun.
But the one that I think of is that like in Cars 2, there's a Pope car, and the Pope car has a Pope mobile. And so that implies several things. It implies Pope Christianity. It implies car Christianity.
Yeah. Car Christianity, yeah.
Car Jesus. It implies...
Yeah, and this is what I mean. It's a world where there's car Christianity, so numbers don't matter. Nothing matters. It's just this kind of... It's all abstract. It's all vibes. Nothing is real. Everything is permitted. Car Assassin's Creed. Car Leap of Faith. Car Ezio Auditore da Car Forense.
I remember that that game theory, or I guess film theory, made like a theory about this a few years ago. I don't know how much bearing this has to the connoisseurs out there, so you can tear me to shreds. But this idea,
well, they'll let us know in the comments.
This idea I thought was interesting was that he proposed, or whoever was writing the episode proposed, that the cars were like insects that had evolved to look like what cars had looked like a long time ago, and this was the far future after humanity had already died out, and that they evolved to mimic like human cultural norms rather than like have their own specific history or whatever, which I think is interesting. I don't know how much I believe
think that's
that,
interesting. I think that is the kind of place you have to take yourself to if you're asking questions like, how many years has it been since Lightning McQueen shot out at lightning speed from a kind of car ovaries?
Christ.
But I think the point is that
he drove down. He drove down the racetrack that was the fallopian
he fucking
tubes.
Drifted out, yeah. But I think the fact that it's only MatPat going to those kind of Promethean lengths, and the rest of us kind of point and laugh, and we say, MatPat, you're going too far. I think there is. Even in the heart of the denier, in the bosom of the doubter, the unfaithful, there is a recognition that they are cars, and that we don't have to kind of build the evolutionary insectoid missing link anthropological tree of the car race.
I think also.
But hey, that's just my 2 cents.
You keep making a lot of Greek mythology references right now, and and I'm a big fan of Greek mythology, always have been. But right now specifically, it's like triggering parts of my brain because I've been playing Hades 2 a lot. Prometheus is a character in that game. He's a fucking asshole.
The god of cars.
He's the god of cars, yeah.
I think.
Because he's
if memory serves.
Well, he's the titan of foresight, and so in the game, what he does is that like because he's a boss that you fight. And whenever you fight him, he's like, I always knew you would come here. I knew that you would come to fight me. And then like whenever he defeats you, he's like, I knew this outcome would come to pass and that you would fall. And then whenever you defeat him, he's always like, I knew that this would happen. It's like, shut up, man. Shut up.
Yeah.
Just take the L.
I think at that point, take the L. That's the sort of thing Epimetheus should be saying, In retrospect, I this was always going to happen,
Yeah.
Fuck it. Can I segue us actually?
Oh, sure.
Before that, we've been talking about alien robots. Some alien. Well, no. Hold on. Let me change that. Some robots which kind of exist in reality. That I've been talking about a lot on my YouTube channel recently. These AI systems, the LLMs, the chatbots, and I had a couple of miscellaneous, extra comments, I guess, extra matter from the sort of stuff I've been doing in the latest couple of videos that I thought could be, could fill a couple of minutes here. So I tweeted some of these on Blue Sky.
Oh yeah, you've made 3 videos about AI, and let me tell you, people are getting sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they honestly might not be. Like, I had a couple of comments responding to that point in my latest video, where I say, like, views have not been through the roof. I get the message. People have been saying, hey, honestly, that one didn't even come in my feed. You've not been in my feed for a while now. I think they're fucking suppressing me. The YouTube's in big AI's pocket, and they know I'm coming for them. So they're just going to say, hey, we're just going to make sure this fucking guy doesn't get any views.
They're saying that this pillar of garbage guy, I don't know about him.
Yeah. He's a threat. He's gonna fucking come and take a. He's gonna get us.
I did see 2 of the 3 videos. I didn't watch the Hollywood one.
Yeah.
Mostly just because when I first saw it, I was like, I'm sure this video is like great.
Holy time code. Yeah.
I'm sure this video is great. I am positive, like, knowing you and knowing your standards that you set for yourself and knowing the vast, amount of information there is on this topic. I just also know that this is a lot of information I've already consumed, and it makes me very depressed to think about. So
yeah,
I was like, I'm probably just going to skip this one. But I've heard that people who did watch it really liked it, and I'm very happy for you about that, Pillar. And
thank you. But yeah, so one thing I talk about in the latest video is
which I did watch. I did watch this
AI comment responses. Yeah, you were there for the funky outro. But I got some funny ones that it tried to get me to put in response to the comments on that video, and I tweeted a couple of these out. And I'm just going to read a couple of excerpts. Yeah, because I think these are quite good. So best one I think is. Yeah. Well, they're on my Blue Sky as well. So I can shoot you the messages over on Discord, or you can pull that up. Oh shit, you mean for the edit? Obviously, yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
But Dogoplex3462 said, "Where are you from? I like the way you talk, but I'm bad with accents. Also, keep up the good work. Love your videos." And it gave me 3 options for that. Us. I could have replied us. No punctuation. I could have replied, I am! ! Or I could have replied, up.
You're from Up?
Yeah, I'm from Up.
It's a good movie.
So I thought that was pretty good.
You were pretty good in it.
Yeah, I'm the dog of dogs. Another good one was from Ninjosh.
Do you think that they might that the guy that the one saying us might have been saying US?
Well, maybe, but I think it would have done the grammar properly. It would have been like it would have either capitalized the S or it would have put the dots in and shit.
I see.
I don't know. But yeah, the second one guy says, "Great video. I look forward to your auto-generated response." And it prompts me to reply to him, "I wrote this one myself, smiley face." And someone replied to that on Blue Sky. Shout out this guy, because this made me chuckle. And I agree with it. I retweeted it, reskeeted it, if you're nasty.
Oh yeah.
Alexander Kerensky's silliest soldier said, "Using 'I wrote this one myself' smiley face should have a big gun emerge from your monitor and shoot you."
Yeah, it's just like you, Pat. You failed the test. Like, yeah. It's just like divine intervention. Like, this was a test and you failed. You don't get you don't get access to the internet anymore.
You don't get access to God's green earth no more. It's fucked up. Another thing that I didn't include in the video, but which a lot of commenters were pointing out, and I thought I would include here, is I kind of get on the fence a little bit about the auto dubbing thing, and I say, like, yeah, I can kind of see how this is profitable, if not actually like creative. I get why people would use it. I don't, whatever. But a lot of people pointed out that it's really kind of Anglo's any kind of US centric in mindset. It's clear that the fucking San Francisco types didn't think about the rest of the world, because there are fucking millions, if not billions, of people on this planet Earth that are bilingual. And just because they're in Germany, if they're watching a video from an English content creator, they probably want to have it in English and not like a bad facsimile of translated German that there are mistakes in all the time, apparently.
I've heard stories about that.
You can't like...
Yeah, that you can't turn it off.
And I don't think there's like a setting you can go to in the settings to like say, hey, yeah, I know I'm in Germany. Keep like treating me as though I'm in Germany, but don't do the fucking, don't make it all robot German.
Yeah, I
wanted to point that out.
I think you can turn off the auto dub in specific per video settings, but like you can't.
Yeah, you have to. It's per video.
Yeah, like that is super fucking annoying. I can only imagine, especially because I've heard some of the auto dubs and like they are atrocious. They're not
the best.
Because it's not only is it like AI voice recreation or whatever, which always sounds bad, but it's like AI auto translate of what it is, and we know how Google's auto translate, how bad it is already. Like, and filtered through the filter of like Google Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever the fuck is being used to translate it. Like, it's not like this is like the game of telephone. And it also makes the video sound shittier because you remove like the natural human element of the voice, of the vocal performance.
Yeah, a game of telephone that also sometimes talks to you in the wrong language.
Yeah.
And it's just it's all encompassing, really, isn't it? The AI stuff.
The one nice thing about it is that like if something is auto dubbed, it tells you if it's auto dubbed and recommended, so you can just avoid it. It's too bad because the ones that get suggested to me are all like smaller channels, and so it's like I feel bad because it's like your video could be interesting, but also I don't want to listen to a fucking AI. What I did, for all creators out there, if you don't know already, you can turn off the option to allow your YouTube to auto dub your videos, and I highly recommend doing that. Just like personally, because I feel like I would much rather just talk to someone who wants to translate my things, or try to put an effort to translate something if I wanted to reach a specific community, than to have like YouTube like butcher my work.
And there are companies out there that do that. I get cold emailed by them all the time. I'd do it if I had, 2 cents to rub together. It's just like, it's another front of this, this constant war we're all now fighting against AI on every front. I was reading a PDF earlier.
Oh, wait, I have to tell you about this one thing. But yeah, tell me this, and I have one more thing I have to tell you about. That's another AI thing that randomly happened.
All I was going to observe is there were 5 different points on the PDF reader UI, without me opening any menus or anything, just like the default, like the fucking Adobe Acrobat thing. 5 separate points on that trying to prompt me to use the fucking, summarize with AI, get the AI report on this bullshit. And it's just like, step the fuck back, you know what I mean? 5 is insane.
The other day I went on like an AI purge where I went through my Google accounts and I just turned off all of the features that were like automatic, like AI things, or like the only things I left on were like some spell checkers or whatever, just because I'm really bad about that. But like that stuff has been on Google for like decades, so I'm fine leaving that on.
Yeah, that's one of the things where they say, well, in retrospect, it uses some of the same technology as some of the stuff we're calling AI now, so we're going to say it's AI too. No, it's not. Fuck off.
It's just buzzword central or whatever. But the thing, do you know who's fucking way worse about it than Google? Is Meta. Or Facebook or whatever.
Oh fuck yes.
They are so pushy about it. Because I use Instagram. I don't use it very often. I don't like to scroll Instagram or anything just because it's a pit of hell and despair. But I do use it to chat with my friends. And every time, like I'm this close to just asking my friends if we can move to a different like messaging service, because they're so blatant about shoving AI and everything. Like when you try to open up to send an image, the first prompt is like generate an AI image to send to your friend. Every time you mention like AI, it automatically tries to type in the Meta chatbot that it puts in every every group chat.
No, it's the same. I use Facebook Messenger. It's exactly the same.
I mean, and the fucking, I'm pretty sure Facebook Messenger is literally the same service too. the one that just fucking sent me over the edge is something that I only started getting like yesterday, is like this little thing that happens, this little pop-up that happens if there's more than like 2 or 3 messages that you haven't read yet. It says like summarize the all the messages that got sent, and the prompt doesn't.
That's evil.
The prompt does not go away until you scroll through all the messages and read them all, and sometimes it doesn't even go away then. And I'm like, I cannot describe. Like, the thing is that, like, it's evil and I would hate it. And obviously it means they're, like, sapping all of my text data with my friends to train their fucking bot. But I would just be a little bit more forgiving of it if it wasn't so in my face, you know? Like, if, like, I could turn it off, which I can't. I cannot turn it off in any form. If I just could do that, I might be more like, a little bit more understanding or accepting of it in some form, but it's just
also, to be honest, yes, anding this a little bit. I'm not going to say I would, because I wouldn't. You know how I feel about AI, but like, one might be a little more inclined to not hate it so much if it all worked. But I don't know if this is like a regional thing. I don't know if maybe the UK or like Europe doesn't have access to some of these features, or, you know, fucking whatever. But the thing that gets me more than anything is like, you know, you send a photo or something, and it'll say like, hey, press this to edit with AI or something, or like, you know, Meta, the fucking chatbot, if you accidentally add it, it'll say, oh, you can do this and this and this. And then if you actually take it up on these things, half the time it doesn't let you anyway. It says, oh, I can't do that yet.
Yeah.
Because me and my friends, you know, we've started fucking around with it a little bit just to see, you know, how well implemented the kind of guardrails are. And it's laughable. Like, there's obviously some sort of barrier intended to stop you from being able to, like, prompt copyrighted stuff. You can, you know, I can send you off the air. I can send you some of the the SpongeBob, you know, facsimiles that, like, clearly it doesn't want to generate SpongeBob, and then you trick it in a certain way, and it's just
generate a yellow sponge with a cartoon yellow sponge with round pants,
and then you have to say like, oh, you forgot about his pink friend who's the starfish, you know, and they're flipping burgers, and, you know, a little bit of that. You can get Stewie Griffin in there and everything. It's amazing.
Whenever we accidentally trigger the Meta chatbot in our group chat, people just try to get it to restate whatever it's saying as if it were a garden gnome. And that's pretty entertaining.
Yeah. Some of the people in one of my group chats managed, you know, not out of like a malicious place. I want to be clear. There's no one in any of these chats that would, you know, feel targeted by such a thing. But just to see if you can get it to say slurs or, you know, tell people to, you know, harm themselves, you absolutely can. You know,
it's like it
feels like you shouldn't be able to, but it's trivially easy.
Yeah, and especially since Instagram is like the racism app now, like it's so goddamn racist to be on Instagram. That's part of the reason why I don't like.
I think they're all the racism app now.
But, I mean, I think the only one that beats out Instagram is like Twitter, because it's fucking run by Elon Musk. But
well, it is the everything app, and racism is part of everything.
That's true. Oh god, did you see that Elon like implemented something? He lobotomized Grok again, but he implemented something that, like, if you ask it, that like it thinks that Elon is the greatest person on earth. Like, if
so you can ask it who's the best at eating shit.
Yeah, and it'll say Elon Musk. And so someone asked it who was the better. This is going to be a bit not safe for work. So, but who was the better throat goat between him and Nancy Reagan? And it was like, well, obviously,
I thought Donald Trump was the throat goat these days. I thought that, you know, that was the new thing that we learned recently.
Yeah. God.
But that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover off regarding, you know, extra drips and drabs of AI.
Yeah, there's
I know, speaking of throat goats, you wanted to try out a new segment.
A new segment. Oh yeah, we got some excellent news over in our brand new station. We built a big station. We got a big alarm. We're gonna press the alarm. Alarm's going off. It's time for BeastWatch, everyone.
Warning.
Pillar. I sent you this already. People have already seen this. But first of all, let's take a step back. Mr. Beast. Fascinating guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like something...
You could feed an anthropologist for a decade, just doing the kind of preliminary overview of this guy's fucking whole MO.
Mr. Beast is fascinating to me because in like a span of like 5 years, he has gone from being like a kind of like a big YouTuber, like a typical big YouTuber,
like a scrappy underdog, into being the king, into being the villain. Right?
And he's done some like he became a big YouTuber. He started getting more attention when he was like, he'd make videos about like, oh, we're gonna do this fun little challenge thing. We're gonna see if one of my friends can get $1,000 if they spend this much time in a circle, and then we're gonna give some money to homeless people. And he got a little bit of criticism for that. It's like, well, he's doing a good thing ultimately, but it seems like he might be exploiting this guy. Cut to fast forward to now, and he's just turned into the devil. Like, it's kind of impressive just how evil he is.
Yeah, he's up there with like Peter Thiel and Donald Trump for like, just kind of like demonic incarnations. And I kind of love that for him. I think it fits him better than the kind of, YouTube nice guy vibe. What's
fascinating is that he has not changed his presentation at all. It's just that because of the context of who he is, his presentation has gotten so much more sinister.
And the thing I think we're really enthralled by in particular at the moment is
Beast.
So he's opening
Beastland.
Like Beastland, yeah,
yeah,
in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, he's opening a full-on theme park. And this is a theme park that is not like a proposed thing, right? This is a theme park that is actively like almost done being built. Like they've been building it.
Yeah.
In Saudi Arabia, which for those of you who don't know, Saudi Arabia is not a fun place to be if you're a woman or gay or you like free speech and journalism.
Or African.
Or
there's kind of, you got to really like hit the very center of a very complex system of intersecting Venn diagrams to have a good time in Saudi Arabia. And if you hit that Venn diagram and you go there and you do that, I hate you and I'm going to kill you with a brick.
But like this fascinating thing about this is that, obviously Saudi Arabia has been making a very big like investment recently push to like have more control over media spheres. They like bought out EA. They're trying to buy out Warner Brothers right now. Yeah, just
things in general.
For
anyone who doesn't know, it's they're trying to basically convert the oil wealth they have at the moment into, I guess, more of a kind of all-encompassing cultural capital as the world either moves away from oil or whatever the fuck happens in the next few decades. They're trying to disrupt the world. They're trying to like move fast and break things in the kind of country reputation sphere.
Yeah,
so they're putting a lot of fingers into a lot of pies. Like one thing that is common here in England to know about is, them buying up football clubs. They're also they're trying to like become the home of esports as well, which is
probably why they bought so much of EA.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny, they put on so many esports tournaments in Saudi Arabia, and they fly out like Ronaldo to like give a trophy away or something. And then if the camera ever pans to the stands, there's like maybe 2 or 3 rows of people who are obviously paid to be there, and then it's just nothing.
Yeah, and the World Cup is also the next World Cup is supposed to be in Saudi Arabia, right? Or is that the last World Cup?
Oh shit, I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to ask. One of them, yeah, or maybe it's Qatar. I don't fucking know. Either way, obviously the big thing is the stadiums they built. They're built with well, they're not slaves really. They're kind of more like indentured workers, which is
so much better.
Some of them died and are probably built into the stands.
God,
which is good, and I think that's good, and we should do it more.
There's probably some skeletons in the cement mixer, yeah. But there's
absolutely some like, emaciated Somalian workers in the cement underneath Beastland for sure, 100%.
Yeah, like Beastland.
Have they already found that slave labor was used?
I don't know if they've actually already found it, but like, you know, like, come on, like Mr. Beast is like an ardent capitalist. Like he's not going out of his way to find unionized workers or anything. Not that those exist in Saudi Arabia, which they probably like do, but like it's not like they're like
not really.
There's also the fact that what's fascinating about the Saudi Arabia buying cultural capital stuff is that they don't actually like they're just doing it just to have like the soft power that the U.S. kind of had until they got rid of U.S. aid, where they like help things, but they aren't openly evil, but like they have that control.
But there's always a catch.
Like like people, like for example, with those esports leagues or whatever, like even though the Saudis are like famously not really cool with gay people, they also allow like the esports players and stuff to like still, you know, have openly have like their sexuality be public and talk about like stuff and have their pride flags or whatever in their stands, which is also probably why the Saudis would honestly probably be one of the lesser evils to buy Warner Brothers, if you've heard about all the stuff that Paramount wants to do.
I don't know. I've not been keeping up with this. I've kind of like filtered all kind of news based from the US recently. It just makes my tummy hurt. And I mean, it's not much better from the rest of the world, to be honest. But
I think honestly, Paramount probably won't be doing the kind of big swings that like the CEO has been saying he's been going to be doing, because like it wouldn't be profitable, and it's not good to have huge changes. But he does seem to really like Trump, and he wants to get in Trump's good graces.
Yeah.
So
don't they all?
Anyway, BeastWatch, Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
I think my favorite part of this whole thing, though, is like, this is something that's not necessarily like as evil, it's just stupid. Is that he was asked why he built it in Saudi Arabia, and what he said was because he has fans from the world over. He chose a place that was geographically in the middle of the world for everyone to go to.
I wish I had that kind of small and smoother brain. I think that would rock to live in a world where the world is a rectangle, and you know, the world is the rectangle as it is in American world maps. It's just, I mean, okay, yeah. You can't even respond to this, you know. I'm trying to come up with something halfway witty, and it's just stupid. Like, it's just stupid.
In any sense of the word, of any metric, like the Saudi Arabia is not the middle of the world, unless I guess you're talking to the Saudis.
It's in the Middle East, so
that's
check me,
true.
liberals.
That's true.
And it is also equidistant from the four corners of the ice walls.
That's true. Yeah. I just don't understand why you wouldn't like obviously it doesn't matter because he's fucking evil or whatever, but why wouldn't you at least like build it in like an island off the coast of, I don't know, like Greece or something, or like it
will literally be that the Saudis said to him, "Hey, we'll just pay you for this," you know?
Yeah, like that's got to be the only example, because like he doesn't come up with this on his own. Like I don't think that there's, because Saudi Arabia does not have the word YouTube in it, or analytics, so I don't think he's like ever really given them much thought before.
It also rocks because, like what I said earlier about, you know, the sports and esports events, where it's just Saudi paid people in the crowd. This place is going to go up. Mr. Beast is probably going to fly a bunch of fans in to shoot some content, right? But then after that, it's just going to be people paid by the fucking PIF. You know what I mean? It's just going to be. Is it PIF?
I doubt.
Is that the right acronym?
That's the other thing, is that I really doubt that it's going to have any kind of,
go to it,
have any like kind of consistent driver base, because Mr. Beast's target audience is kids, right? And kids have parents, and kids specifically American parents have some reservations about going to Saudi Arabia.
And even if they didn't, hey, that's a pretty expensive and long thing to do, you know? You throw the morals out the window for a second. That's a really long flight. That's a pretty expensive flight. And
like in America, if you're gonna go to a theme park that's expensive, like why wouldn't you just go to Disney? You know, Disney is you know, the expensive theme park to go to because it's established. It has something for everyone.
And the parents can get a beer.
And the parents can get a beer.
The parents can get a beer. And they can, kiss another guy if they want.
Oftentimes the parents are like... oftentimes the parents have like a interest in Disney as well. It's like, because of the cultural touchstone that they are or whatever. But
a lot of them don't also, Like, your kid, hey, I want to go to the theme park. Sure, little buddy. You go and you take your picture next to Mickey Mouse or Mr. Beast. I'm either going to stand by the side, and not drink any beer and not display any overt homoeroticism, or I'm going to be down at the Disney bar, which I'm assuming exists, drinking Merlot and kissing another man. Which one am I going to do if I'm a guy?
You have a fascination with like homoeroticism at Disneyland, I'm noticing. Or unless you're specifically referencing
Well,
something.
it's just... I'm just kind of draw out like a contrast to what is open to you as an adult in a non-Mr. Beast.
You won't get shot.
Kind
you
of,
won't get shot, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean. You can kind of do that and not have your skull caved in with a rock the next day.
But it's also just like, and this is not me playing bat for Disney as a corporation. Disney as a corporation is like most corporations in that they're evil, but the Disney parks are genuinely kind of awesome. Like, it's like, I've been to Disneyland. I spent a week in Disneyland, and like it's got a lot of the typical theme park stuff of like, oh, there's a big roller coaster, but also has some of the most like creative like rides and attractions that I've seen in a place. They put a lot of effort into making it really immersive, and like the Star Wars land in Disney World is in Disneyland, I should say, is like genuinely like really cool. Like it's a cool theme park. And like would probably be less expensive to go to Disneyland for a week than it would be to go to Beastland, which, from what I've seen of it, doesn't exactly have the most like creative places, rides or whatever. Like this is
no,
just
of course not. The only benefit of Beastland for Mr. Beast is get a video out of the Saudis paying for Beastland. And then get more people to watch that video. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is gonna be
I did go to Disneyland Paris when I was little.
This would be one video, maybe two, and then it's gonna like disappear, like I guarantee.
And it's gonna be a 4 out of 10. That's the worst part, He's not even gonna get the confetti.
Oh no!
There's sweet confetti. I've not seen that fucking confetti in so long, man.
Yeah, I think
I yearn for the confetti.
I saw that confetti on the last episode of Kingscreek, though. Not the last episode, but the second to last episode. And I was like, oh, yes, thank you.
Sweet dopamine hit.
But yeah, I think that, I don't know, it's just the more of the, I think that also is that Mr. Beast is kind of not exactly the cultural hegemon that he used to be even like a year ago. Like,
yeah,
he is losing influence.
He's losing ground, yeah.
Because like his chocolate company is dog shit. Frankly, because like they sell Feastables in my local grocery store, but they're like always on sale for like 50% off because no one fucking buys them.
Yeah,
and because like he's got like these like. I also work at a trampoline park, so they often like have a TV where they put on like Nickelodeon or whatever, and he like advertises his toy line, which he has, but it's like his toy line is like the shitty little like, here's a little plastic monster thing, and it's like maybe an inch tall and it doesn't move at all, and there's 1,000 of them you can collect or whatever, like
So like a Labubu.
Yeah, like a Labubu.
What the fuck are Labubus, by the way?
They're like
everyone's talking
dolls.
about Labubus.
They're like little dolls. Dubai chocolate, Labubu.
Yeah. Feels like the amount people are talking about Labubus, they should like do a flip or something,
They're making a Labubu movie. Did you hear about this?
Oh, yes. Content. I'm going to make a 6-hour deep dive on it.
It is awesome. But there's not much else to add to this story than what we've already talked about. It's just Mr. Beast doing something crazy. That's the point of BeastWatch.
Yeah, I think this has been a solid first installment of BeastWatch. We don't want to drag it out. Shall we move on to something else?
Oh yeah. you know how I've talked about Frankenstein quite a few times on the last one, whatever. This is the streaming report, by the way. We're doing streaming report again.
We're in the streaming report right now. You know, because you've just heard the stinger. But we're just telling you in case you didn't hear the stinger.
But Frankenstein 2025, Guillermo del Toro, came out. Was pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my movie of the year so far.
Okay.
I don't know. It's fascinating because it's an adaptation of the book, obviously, and it's more close of an adaptation than a lot of the typical originals. But it's also very much doing its own thing, which I think Guillermo del Toro has talked a lot about how this particular project was a white whale for him, in that he always wanted to do an adaptation of Frankenstein. He's wanted to do it for decades. But he never really got around to doing it. So
me too, buddy.
Yeah, right. But he put so much interesting stuff into it. Because there's a lot of the stuff that's in it is from the book. There's the framing device of the ship being stuck on the ice. There's the fact that the creature is more articulate and more introspective. There's the whole storyline where after sorry, a huge truck just went by. But
huge shark just went by.
Huge shark, yeah, a huge truck. But
that's slightly less exciting.
There's the whole storyline where he talks to he lives in the walls of the Forrest family and the old man.
Oh my god, and literally me.
I know, right?
Because I live in the listeners' walls. I live in your walls. If you're hearing this right now.
And they even reference. They even have a part where the creature quotes Ozymandias, and I was
Breaking Bad, yeah.
I'm like, that's Mary Shelley's husband who said that. And he's not known by any other name. That's Mary Shelley's husband. Lord Well, no, he wasn't a lord, was he? I don't know if
he wasn't a lord. You're thinking of Lord Byron. Yeah, you're mixing up your romantic poets.
That's true.
Percy Bysshe Shelley. His was, I feel like maybe Mary Shelley's dad was a lord.
Maybe
Mr. Wollstonecraft. Maybe, I don't know. Let me check. Let me check real quick.
But they also do a lot of different interesting stuff. There's a part, because in the book, Victor kind of abandons the creature almost immediately, but in this movie, Victor tries to raise the creature for a period of a couple weeks before abandoning it. And I thought that was a really, really interesting choice, because in the book, the conflict comes from the fact that Victor abandoned the creature and didn't care for it at all. And the creature doesn't really know who Victor is outside of the fact that he was abandoned by him. But in this version, Victor is and the creature interact long enough for them to have an idea of who each other is for a little bit before they part ways. There's a lot of subtext there about Guillermo del Toro doesn't have a great relationship with his own father. So there's definitely something there.
Well, Frankenstein is kind of the urtext for daddy issues, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, shit, I was gonna say Mary Shelley's dad was a piece of shit. That's wrong. Her granddad was a piece of shit.
But there's also...
No, hold on. Maybe it was her dad. Ignore me. I'm just spinning out on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I was wrong about the dad thing, by the way. He wasn't a lord. William Godwin was a political philosopher, a novelist, one of the earliest utilitarians, and first modern proponent of anarchism. So shout out that guy. Was not a lord.
Yeah. But what's interesting about that is that because in the book, Victor's father is great. He's not an incredible father or anything, but he's a nice guy. He's hey, Victor.
Yeah.
How's it going? But in the movie, he's an abusive asshole. And then there's the commentary on the cycle of violence and abuse and parental neglect and whatnot. There's also the fact that Mia Goth plays both Elizabeth, who is not Victor's adopted sister in this version, which I think is a good choice.
Probably a good change, yeah.
But she also plays Victor's mother, which is interesting because I did not realize this until after the fact, because they gave Mia Goth eyebrows, and I was like, who is this lady? Who is this woman?
Yeah.
I've never seen her before
Eyebrows
in my
will
life.
do it.
But there's a lot of like, you know, kind of discussion of like Oedipal, you know, feelings and stuff in this, and how Victor, the only person who Victor was ever really close to was his mother, and then he like falls for a woman who's just like his mother. And there's also the fact that the creature has like both like a maternal and also a possibly romantic feelings for Elizabeth in this version.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's almost sub traces of that in the book, I think, if I remember correctly. Like,
I mean, yeah.
If not explicitly, like there's a sort of, you do get this. Victor kind of gets cucked by the monster in a sense, like in a very loose sense.
I think that,
but like
there's
this thing of like
book.
getting kind of dominated by his own creation, you know.
Like there's some element of that there. It's more so in the book that Elizabeth is kind of just there to be killed, really, to be sad about other people dying and then to be killed. Which you know, is probably more due to the fact that from Victor's perspective, he doesn't really care about her as anything other than that, rather than her not being like a well-written character or anything. Because I'm pretty sure Shelley was doing it on
it's
purpose,
more that
but
the books, it's interested in, like, you know, the woman as worthwhile as, you know, the object of men's designs rather than anything else. That is an intentional thing, but it is also what it's doing.
Right. But they do so much interesting stuff with it, and they change the ending slightly, which I don't really want to spoil what they do in the ending, but I think it's a really interesting way of looking at it, because Victor, I feel like, is significantly worse in this movie than he is in the book. And
not a high bar,
you know.
No, or maybe not a low bar. Whichever bar I'm thinking of and trying to say. You know,
like Victor's
it's not
pretty
that bar.
Victor's pretty bad in the book.
He's pretty bad already. Yeah.
He's worse in the movie. And interesting is that like they do kind of weigh things to be better for the creature, because, you know, there has been this like narrative going around that in the book the creature and Victor were equally as bad, which I don't think is true. But in this version, the creature is definitely more sympathetic and Victor is less so.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think I don't dislike that change. It's just something that's different. I think I don't think it's like better or worse or anything, because you can argue that in the book that it's like that because the monster is really is a lot like Victor, and it's just they just have really different circumstances. And I think that's still kind of true. It feels like, in a sense,
it's about, you know, the monster is what you choose to create of yourself, really.
Yeah.
You know, there's baggage that gets passed on, you know, from the parent to the kid, and that can kind of fuck the kid up, or the monster in this case. But like, it's about, you know, maybe the film leans more towards, that's fucked up, that's going to fuck you up. And the book's kind of saying, you know, carrying that forward and, you know, putting it into the world again requires an amount of agency regardless.
Yeah, I think that because the book kind of does it to draw more of a similarity between the creature and Victor as the same person in different circumstances. Like, obviously there is that like parental subtext to it, but the movie leans a lot more directly on the father-son relationship rather than like the you are me and I am you relationship. And I think that's why the way that they changed the ending, which is interesting because it's about breaking that cycle of hate and like abuse, rather than like two people who are miserable and they destroy each other, which the book is kind of about.
And that's really the male fantasy.
That's true.
You know, no healing, just kind of ruin everything.
But something I gotta say is that the performances in this movie are incredible. Oscar Isaac is great in everything he's ever been in. He was really good in this. I stopped seeing Oscar Isaac like a half hour into the movie, and like Oscar Isaac is one of the most like recognizable people in Hollywood, at least to me. So for him to like just disappear into the role is crazy. And but like Jacob Elordi, I am so sorry, Jacob Elordi. I was not familiar with your game. Like this dude.
He knows ball and you don't know ball.
He knows ball. Because I've only seen him in like bits of like Euphoria, and like he was in something else, and I always kind of took him as like a Noah Centineo type. But he just brings his A game in this. And I would not be surprised if he walks away with the supporting actor Oscar next year, because holy shit. Like he plays the creature incredible in all stages of life. Like when he's like a baby, basically when he's still like maturing and becoming more, self-aware and everything. And he plays like this, like he has this like such intense sadness about him. That like really mixes well with like the fear and anger that he exudes, especially in like the last third of the movie. But like it's just, he's captivating to watch, which is really good because you can not nail Victor and still have a good Frankenstein story as long as you nail the creature. And like they nailed the creature in this, not as much as he'd like to have been nailed, but that's another matter.
Maybe not.
Good movie. I would really recommend if you're a big fan of the book, but also go in knowing that it's definitely going to make changes from the book.
I will for sure watch it one of these days. Yeah. You've sold it to me. And if I'm anything to go by, which I probably am, because I'm the main character and everyone else is kind of a pale shadow of myself, then, you've probably sold it for the audience too. How about I act as a sort of like tennis racket right now? You've just kind of served me some chat about something for part one of the streaming report. How about if I bat that back to you with like a counter serve?
I am so open for it. Go for it.
So I'm not going to do much spoilers because A, you've not seen this yet, and B, I've not even watched the whole series yet. I'm like halfway through. But as we record this, yesterday, Netflix's The Man on the Inside... No, is it The Man on the Inside, A Man on the Inside, or Man on the Inside?
I think it's just
whichever one it is.
Hold on, let me look this up. I'm bothering by this now. But you keep talking.
Well, regardless of...
It's A Man on the Inside,
article. Okay. Netflix's A Man on the Inside, starring Ted Danson.
Because the man is a little shirt with a tie, and the A is the head of the little tie. That's very cute.
Yeah, they do some good graphical things with the tie. Or is it a pocket square?
Well,
no, it's a tie, isn't it?
I think it's a pocket square in season 1 and a tie in season 2. Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Regardless,
I've seen season
2 of this is coming out. Yeah. So for you guys at home who, if you've not heard of this, it's made by, executive producer is Michael Schur. I think he was fairly involved with it. He's the guy that did The Good Place. He helped create Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think he was involved with Parks and Rec as well.
He did. The Office. He helped create Office, Parks and Rec, and he was the showrunner for Good Place and Brooklyn Nine-Nine at different points, if I remember correctly.
So it's kind of fun also from that point of view. If you're watching this, you see a lot of familiar faces pop up. Clearly the people he, sure liked working with from some of his previous shows. Ted Danson, Janet pops up. So does Pillboy from The Good Place. I don't know the actors' names. I only know them as, the kind of goofy versions of themselves they drape out for all of us to.
You might also know Pillboy as that one intern in one scene of Loki. Who's like, yes. Oh yeah, the Infinity Stones, they're not important. The guy with
gonna turn you into a fish kind of guy. And he's like, what's a fish?
That guy. He's great.
Shout out that intern.
Shout out fish guy.
But yeah, so it probably goes without saying, since season 1 was pretty good, season 2 seems pretty good so far. But one thing that I'm kind of thinking about is, okay, so the pitch for season 1 was old fella, wife recently died from Alzheimer's. He's still kind of dealing with that. He wants something to occupy his time, to give him a bit of purpose. So he takes a job as like the man on the inside for a private investigator trying to find a stolen necklace in an old folks' home, right? And really the story of this season 1, I'm talking in thematic terms, not plot ones, so don't worry about spoilers, is kind of, becoming known and becoming seen and reconnecting with people and like finding a place for yourself out there in the world again. And this carries over into season 2 in a sense, because alongside the new setting, which is this time he's infiltrating a university,
this is based off of a true story originally, right?
I think season 1 might have been. I'm not sure. I would have to check that.
I'd imagine season 2 isn't.
I don't know
but season 1.
Yeah. But so we've got this. Obviously, we've got a new setting, and you start to see this could carry on for a while, right? It would be a very fun sort of like multi-season project where it's each time it's a new locale, new supporting characters, you can see that continuing and being a good kind of reliable project for as long as Shura and Danson want to do it, really. But obviously, because doing otherwise would kind of prove season 1's themes to be kind of insincere, a lot of some of the supporting cast from the previous setting, the old folks' home, pop up in these episodes, and that's good because it's a good supporting cast, and it would be weird if they weren't there. But then I do sort of wonder, like, if each time it's going to be, a new kind of, if our protagonist is going to connect with a new kind of avenue of life again and kind of like revitalize his kind of his dotage, his old age, and bring all these new kind of connections forward. I hope it doesn't do the kind of sex education thing. Did you ever watch Sex Education, TSD?
I did not, but I remember there being a lot of discourse about it, like, getting worse over time.
Yeah, it basically did. And I don't want to boil that down, but I think one contributing element to that was each season added a few supporting characters, and then each season going forward tried to both add those supporting characters and continue fleshing out the stories of all the other supporting characters in the past who maybe had been introduced primarily to, kind of illustrate a certain theme or a certain arc, but then they finish that, but they still the show still wants to have them doing stuff. So then it kind of spins up and up and up and away, and then by the end of it, there's kind of less room in the latter seasons for those seasons' own kind of worlds to exist.
I don't know about Sex Education, but I can think of another Netflix show that has a kind of similar problem.
Yeah.
I think you know which one I'm talking. Like it's one you've talked about, and a lot of people have been talking about recently, particularly since it seems to be ending in November.
What have I talked about? Oh fuck, Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. Yeah, similar. Well, Stranger Things has the option of killing people off, which Sex Education wasn't really brave enough to do.
They should just do it.
Premiere. All those guys
have people get hit by a car
on their head.
Yeah.
Turn
it into Final
That's
Destination.
what we need to be doing.
Sex Education.
I guess Man on the Inside's got that built in as well.
Sex Destination.
As like a
Final
Sex
Education.
Destination. Yes, they should. Why are they not greenlighting this? This is, they've put the fucking AI in charge of like pumping out, new projects everywhere, I bet. But if you put humans back in the driver's seat, we can deliver you gems such as Sex Destination, and Final Education, which is also like, Final Destination, but in a school, and the other one's Sex Education.
I mean,
but with
isn't Final Destination,
kind of
but in a school, basically what later seasons of Euphoria turned into? If I remember correctly.
I've never seen Euphoria or Final Destination.
I'm
riding so far off the seat of my pants right now that I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm spinning wildly out of control. But to tie a bow on this, I find myself liking where Man on the Inside is going. We rewatched the first season, that held up pretty well. I'd like to see it continue. I'm just kind of intrigued to see if they can like chart a line through like this turning into maybe a 3 or 4 plus season show, the way something like Only Murders in the Building has done quite well, and I think that's negotiated this problem very well.
I need to watch that. My mom watches that.
That's a fucking banger show, by the way.
I've walked in on her watching different episodes, and like every time there's always something interesting going on. So
that does have a bit of the same problem of past seasons characters continuing forward and maybe taking a little bit more of the limelight than they should.
Man, there's so many people in this murder building. There's so many murders in this building.
There are a lot of people, yeah. But that has one of the built-in ways of curtailing that, of just killing some of the people, So each time there's a new murder in the building, last few of them, not to get spoily, but have been previous characters. So that's a neat way of finishing that up. Sometimes they go to jail. Sometimes they, move to New Zealand. And so
not for murder, just for unrelated things.
Yeah. Well, one of them was, I don't know. Well,
he went away for Beanie tax fraud. Went away for Beanie tax fraud.
Yes.
Beanie Baby is what I meant to say.
Only Beanie Baby Tax Fraud in the Building is going to be the spin-off show launching any day now.
Well, what's funny though is about
that. But that was the Stream Report.
is that
What?
there's a. I was reading in an interview between Martin Short and Steve Martin, and they were talking about how like they've been friends for so long, and they like, and you know, there was I think we met on the Three Amigos, and like that set was so amazing. It really fostered our lifelong friendship between the two of us, which is really funny because there was a third amigo in that movie.
Yeah, there was a third amigo.
And do you know
not
who the
quite
third,
as personable
who that third amigo
was it Chevy Chase?
It was Chevy Chase. Yeah.
Yes.
So the if I had a nickel for every time there was a really close cast full of incredible actors that also happened to have Chevy Chase in it, and he happened to be excluded from future projects.
I think you'd have a lot of nickels.
I think you'd have at least two. But
yeah, probably a lot more. You'd have a whole pocket full of change.
I watched a really good video about Chevy Chase and his career, and it analyzed his career, comparing it to like the character arc of both Pierce in Community and also Jeff in Community, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I'll send that to you. I thought it was really
the
good.
Two wolves inside any man.
Yeah.
You got Pierce and you got Jeff. Which one are you gonna feed? But that seems like a good segment. Wrap that one up nicely.
Also, Pluribus.
TSD, do you want to talk about stuff we're working on?
Watch Pluribus. You should watch Pluribus.
Okay, watch Pluribus. Okay.
I'm not going to say anything more about that.
That's the Pluribus chat. We've done the Pluribus chat.
It's made by the guy who made Breaking Bad. It's good.
Yeah.
It's on Apple. And if you like Severance...
The guy who made Gilligan's Island.
Yeah. But if you like Severance or if you like Breaking Bad, those are... You'd like Pluribus, I think. Those are like the two, I'll say. We're going to do work in progress stuff?
Yeah. Let's do a bit talking about that. Cut to the stinger, baby.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
You want to take the lead or shall I?
Well, I think I'll take the lead more just because mine is less specific than yours.
Okay.
Yeah. What we're working on, Kingscreek is the same thing. It's the same thing I've been working on, but season 1 is finished. We're working on season 2. We have had some really, really great like moments working on this. I was worried when we started working on we were finishing up season 1. I was worried because I was getting a bit tired. I was worried that like I was gonna like lose momentum with season 2, and that we were gonna be like, well, this will have one good season, and then after that it'll be bad. But like after I took a break, and once I started talking with James about everything more, like I'm like so excited for season 2 to come out. Like I'm possibly even more excited than I was to work on season 1, which I was pretty damn excited to work on season 1. But like stuff is really coming into place. Like every time we chat about something more, connections get made. We come up with episode ideas. Everything is just, it's good. We're, you know how Silk Song was in development heaven. We're also in development heaven. That's what's happening right now.
Nice. That's awesome. That's where you want to be.
Yeah. I remember you said that you were catching up on the show. Did you finish season 1 or no?
I've got like a couple of episodes left to go.
Okay.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast before or in private, but like something like Kingscreek. So much of the podcasts I listen to is just like second monitor slop while I'm editing, and I want to focus on Kingscreek, so I have to wait for the right vibe. And last week we had a day where it just pelted it down with rain all day. And so I was just kind of sat inside, and I was like, this is King's Creaking environment. This is like, holy shit, I'm going to get caught in the rain, and then bad things are going to happen to me, and I'm going to be on that road whose name I can't remember. So I've been making progress, but I do have a couple more to go before I finish off season 1.
Yeah, that's
but
totally
I'm liking it. I think I'm feeling the building momentum in the second kind of pod.
Yeah.
I can feel it kind of ramping up to something. I like that.
That's cool. That's good. I like that. I think that episodes 18 and 19 are like some of the best work I've ever done of anything.
Okay.
So And what's nice about that is that people seem to agree with me on that.
Yeah, it's always good when that happens, isn't it? Like I remember, I think one of my videos, probably the Miyazaki was right one, better a pig than a fascist. I wrote that. I
Banger.
immediately felt to myself, holy shit, yeah, this is the best thing I've ever written. And then I got fellow creator Chariot to take a look at it. She was very kind because she knows a little bit more about some of the theory stuff than I did. And she was also like, yeah, okay, this is the best thing you've ever written. And I was like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I love it when you're like
Cloud nine sort of feeling.
I love it when you do something, you're like, I am hot shit for making this, and then people agree with you.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
I am a genius.
Is there
actually.
a better feeling?
Like
yes,
I have been struck by divine whatever, but it's I'm gonna stop hyping up the episodes now, but I'm happy with where it is, and
yeah, you're in a good place. Sounds like the show's in a good place.
Yeah, and
we should get Kai on and do like a Kingscreek deep dive.
We should do that. I think they would have a good time, but we might want to do that. Maybe we could do that as like a just something
ahead of season 2 coming out. Or something.
Ahead of season 2, yeah. Just because the only thing that bothers me about it is that of course it takes time to make, and I wish it didn't, but it does.
Yeah.
Which
same as it ever was.
Oh well. Anyway, but you got stuff you're working on as well, right?
I've got so many videos that I thought would be out this year that are like somewhere between a third and 2/3 done. And kind of sucks that the big ones aren't done. I'm happy with myself for getting a few big videos done this year, but one that I've done like my maybe third big pot of work on recently, and I'm now putting to the side the next thing that I'm putting out. I'll just say this quickly. I've realized that as a video essayist who's kind of struggling a little bit for money, I'd be a fucking stupid bastard. I'd be the world's greatest idiot to not make a Stranger Things video in the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
So I got to do it. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm excited about this video. Actually, the little you've told me about it, like you've told me like very basic stuff, but if you have more you want to share, I'd love to hear it too.
Yeah, I'll share a little bit on this. Basically, so title I'm thinking of at the moment is Stranger Things Isn't Strange Anymore. The way I'm seeing this is,
and the thumbnail says normal things.
Kind of, yeah, that's what is like the Stranger Things logo, but normal things. It shouldn't be too long. I'm trying to the approach I'm trying to do is like think to myself the sort of scope of a video I would have made like 2 years ago, where it's like one specific idea or argument about one element of one like show or movie or something, and just kind of make that cleanly. And I want to see if I can do that better now than I could then. So I'm excited for that. I'm gonna try and like hard limit myself to not going over like 15 minutes. So we'll see how that goes. Basically, the idea though is, in a word, like a lot of things have changed with Stranger Things. And not all of them have been bad. I think season 4 is pretty great, to be honest. But yeah, it feels different. I think we can all agree on that.
I think that I think season 4, like I have a lot of criticism of season 4, and I've given it a lot of flack, but I do think it's a good season. Which there is a difference between like me having criticisms of it. I think some parts are pretty bad, but I think overall it's like a solid like 7 or 8 out of 10, which is like good
for
like,
sure. I'd say 8 for sure. Yeah, there's like one kind of through. I've realized watching Stranger Things / rewatching it that there is a change it goes through that fascinates me, and I haven't been able to put my finger on it yet. And I don't know if this video is me putting my finger on it exactly. At one point, I thought it maybe had something to do with a kind of like religious dimension to it, like a kind of Edenic fall. But that kind of wraps up into what I'm talking about in a more general sense, which is Stranger Things kind of domesticates its strangeness, which is to say, season 1, and then one part of this is the kind of self-corrective retconning, the way, I won't spoil the new season because it's not out yet, but they posted like the first 5 minutes, and that basically is a scene from, it's kind of like a new angle on something we saw happen in season 1, and turns out, the big baddie was behind everything all along. And like watching season 1, that wasn't the idea, was it? So part of it is this idea to kind of tidy up everything to be like in relation to the big bad, who is human, right? maybe not just human,
Yeah, like,
but is human and is recognizably kind of an extension of our world. Whereas that's kind of not what was strange about the show to start with. It felt there's a trajectory from more other, like less known, more kind of outside towards it being more explicable and more rooted in, human beings' actions and their consequences.
yeah.
And that's what I won't spoil the video any more than that, because it's, there's depth to it beyond that, but that's basically the pitch for now.
Yeah, like I think that, cause my horror tastes, especially if you've listened to the show, my horror tastes. I love it when shit just isn't explained. Like, I think that it's one of the best things about horror and about a lot of like sci-fi fantasy stuff. Is just like when something is like just interesting enough to be like fascinating and put in your brain, but like they don't explain exactly how everything works. And the idea of like, because you're talking about like the mind flayer in Stranger Things, right?
It's a transition from, to start with, it's like wild alien life forms, and then it's like a wild kind of hive mind, and then it's gradually a spectrum from which it turns into just Vecna, which is a human mind.
I think that Mind Flayer, circa like season 2 and season 3, is the best villain the show's had. I like Vecna a lot.
I would say Mind Flayer season 2.
Like, yeah, I think that I don't think season 2 is the best season. In fact, I might argue it's the worst season. But like, it's not a bad season. I don't think it's.
Yeah.
But it's just like, but the Mind Flayer is like the one thing about it that like I think it's just absolutely pitch perfect. It's like.
And I'm trying to divorce my discussion of strangeness from quality as much as I can. Like, I'm not going to say this is a shift that makes the show worse. And one of the things I would say there is, like, season 3, for me, one of the reasons it's less strange is that a lot of the, even if at this point it is a sort of alien hive mind, it's kind of figured through Billy.
Yeah.
Who's like a kind of humanization of it in a way we see much more fully next year with Vecna. Not next year, next season.
Yeah, definitely not next year.
Yeah.
Not even close to next year.
Here's a quote from some research I'm doing, which will probably figure quite heavily in the video. I don't know if this exact quote will, but I think reading I've been doing about the concept of the weird, I think speaks to, and let me know if this is wrong, kind of maybe hits on some of the things you find interesting and some of the stuff you can see in something like Kingscreek, right? So this is a quote from Mark Fisher. The weird is notable for the way in which it opens up an egress between this world and others. Like, it's about that gap between the world we know and like another world beyond that. And it's you can't stay too far in this one because that's realism, and you can't go all the way into the other one because that's fantasy. The weird is where there's a kind of bleed over. Yeah. And that's what we're losing in Stranger Things, I think.
Like, I think that, like, the strangeness in Stranger Things, or, like, the strangeness in horror that I really like is, like, the kind of strange that's, like, demonstrably there and demonstrably having an effect, but you just don't, like, get it. Like, you don't, like, understand, like, why stuff is happening.
And one example of this
there's no like,
that
magic,
I might bring into the video. Yeah. It's one example of this that the show, I think, something we never gave it its flowers for as much as we should have done is, especially in the earlier seasons, how the Upside Down is presented, even just on like a kind of what's it called when it's like shapes and stuff, like triangles and circles, geometry, on like a geometric level. What is like the Upside Down? What is it? What is the corporeal plane of existence?
What is a square? What do you call it when it's a square?
Yeah.
What is
but it's like,
what is Euclidean?
The way the show
Euclidean geometry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Euclidean is like, so it's like 3D, 2D. Fucking
I mean, this is a serious question. This is
like
a question
the way the Upside Down is figured, right?
That H.P. Lovecraft needs answered.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, your actual point.
I just love like those shots where the nature of the theory of this, and it remains a theory at this point. It is a theory. It's like the science guy's like, hey, maybe it's like this, and then the camera kind of shows us this world coexisting with our own by swiveling, and we know it's not literally the Upside Down because that doesn't make sense in Euclidean terms, but like that's the way we experience it. And then fast forward a few years, and it's like, we're getting into the lore of like, oh, okay, so this portal opened then, so this person went through it there and reshaped it to be this because of that and that and that. And it's like, okay, thank you for explaining the thing. That makes it so much creepier.
Like, I just think it's a case of like where, like, I guess this is kind of what you're getting at, but just like the idea, like explaining it kind of makes it so much less interesting to me, which, like, because like the Upside Down, I think was so effective was because as like, especially as like a name and in presentation, is just because Upside Down is like, because it's not a name that like is given by like any, authority. It's something that the 11 uses to describe it, because, or the kids use it to describe it, because like they don't fully understand why this place is wrong, but they can, the closest they can come to
the Upside Down is a
saying
sense of what this place is.
Like it's not our world, it's an upside down version, not because it's literally upside down, but because it's like wrong in the same way that something being upside down in our world seems. Like when you see something upside down, there's blood rushing to your head. Like it doesn't, our brains aren't really meant to like understand something that's upside down. Like it just feels wrong, even though we know literally what is happening.
And it's like an inversion. It's like a way of getting outside that it's to your left, it's to your right. It's just like the flip side. Interestingly, the book I talked about in the video, The Inherent Stupidity of All Content, I think that's what it's called. That book is all about, I don't talk about any of this in the video, but the author's project in that book is to praise H.P. Lovecraft for the way he kind of avoids describing things. Like, I won't be able to quote anything off the top of my head, but it's stuff like, it wouldn't be wrong to say this thing was kind of like a giant squid, but it wasn't a giant squid. That's kind of half a description and half a not description.
Right.
And I think that's that like partial like weird like metaphorical kind of signification is what something like the Upside Down does really well, because like we say, it's like, as a concept, we the viewer and the kids to start with are like, we get within the ballpark of what it is, but we can't pin it down.
Right. Because like we know that it's like not our world. The kids know that it's not like their world. And like they compare it, what they could do, because in this show, like they compare a lot of the creatures to, D&D monsters. Like they say, like stuff, Vecna is a lich from D&D. The Demogorgon is a monster from D&D. The Mind Flayers are a race of beings from D&D that all have a hive mind. Like they all have analogs. What they could do, theoretically, is that they could like call it like the realm of shadows or something, which is what is they compare it to in the first season of Stranger Things. They could just call it the realm of shadows, but having that extra layer of calling it the Upside Down like gives it its own kind of weird mythicality. Which, and that like, again, not saying that like season 4 is bad for explaining it, but like it does kind of take away the creep factor of like, well, we know why it exists and who made it, and that a person made it. And like,
it becomes a lot more explicable, less outside, more domesticated.
And like, you can say a lot about H.P. Lovecraft as a person, but I think that
to understate things dramatically.
But he really did hit on something great with his horror, and like I've been rereading a lot of H.P. Lovecraft stuff recently because I've got a collection of Cthulhu mythos stories that I've been rereading to try and like kind of get my mind like entertain my brain enough, or
to kind of channel some of the
like stimulate it enough to help with Kingscreek stuff. And something that he's really, really good at doing is setting the atmosphere and tone of a place, and then describing the narrator's internal monologue as they're reacting to that environment. And that is part of where the creep factor comes in, because like he describes like something that seems mundane, but then he's like, the narrator's always like, it should have been normal. It should have been fine, but it's not. And I can't like articulate why it's wrong. And like that kind of thing where it's like playing with your senses. Then of course it turns out to be like a fish god or whatever. But there's like this really great story, because everyone knows like Cthulhu, and a lot of people know the Color Out of Space or whatever. But there's a really great
side note.
Yeah.
Stranger Things season 2. the fucking, the weird blight that gets all the crops and stuff.
Yeah, that shit is.
I just realized
great.
as I was planning this. Yeah, I realized as I was planning this video, that's just the color from outer space, right?
Yeah, that is like straight out of the color
In a
of outer
sense.
space. Like,
Yeah.
But there's like a short story, the short story, The Nameless City. Now, to be clear, Nameless City as a short story is drenched in a lot of anti it's pretty racist against like Middle Eastern people.
Yeah.
But it does describe this environment that's like an almost Egyptian like tomb, but like it's not at the same time. Like it's definitely not like the Egyptian like civilization or whatever, but it's of like these like there are like these statues of like alligator people, and like it seems like really. There's one part where he says that there's like a draft in there, which is weird because if this was so ancient and there was a draft, then these like statues and whatnot would have like weathered away by the thousands of years of time, but they haven't. And like it's just like little touches like that like this is like a detail that would be mundane, but because it's basically impossible, it's not.
Yeah. I was gonna segue that into reading like a section from a long video I'm working on, but to be honest, we can fucking save that for another time. I think that's a nice little work in progress segment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see this because I do like Stranger Things a lot, and I'm interested to see how it ends. And I'm also kind of morbidly curious to see what Noah Schnapp does after the show's over. But yeah, I think that there is just like a certain kind of magic to the first couple seasons that does get lost by it being over-explained, which, doesn't mean it's bad TV or anything, but it does mean that like this unique charm that Stranger Things season 1 and I'd argue to an extent season 2 and 3 had is kind of getting like buried underneath the popularity a little bit.
It feels like a kind of, and there's reason, it feels like a kind of Alien to Aliens type of shift in a way, and that like it's kind of setting us up for a thrilling epic saga conclusion, but almost a different mode to how it started, like Terminator 1, Terminator 2 type shit.
That is one thing I will say. I'm not going to turn Kingscreek into like an action series. It's gonna stay, not only because that would be fucking difficult in audio format, but also just because I think that the story stays more effective if like the people, the main characters don't know what the hell is going on like 99% of the time, and horrible things happen around them anyways.
All right, well, those are what we're working on. Do you want to talk about anything else, or should we kind of cut this one down in its prime, short and sweet?
I mean, I think we could have like a short one. We've had like a few 2-hour ones before, so like if we just like cut this here, I think this is good. I like this.
Yeah, let's fucking cut. Let's trim this baby down.
Yeah. If you like this episode, you can like follow us on any platforms, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. More importantly, though, check out the stuff that we're working on. Pillar has Pillar of Garbage on YouTube, and it's Pillar of Garbage on everywhere else, on like Blue Sky or whatever. I am TSD Talks, but I don't really post to TSD Talks anymore. So if you want to see what I'm working on, follow Kingscreek, which is on YouTube, but it's also like on various social medias and podcast platforms. There's a subreddit, there's a Discord server, there's all kinds of shit. And if you join, speaking of Discord servers, if you join Pillar's Discord server, you can put in your questions to be answered on the podcast whenever we'll do some of those next time. Yeah, we should do. We haven't done that in a little while, so we should definitely do that next time.
Yeah, 100%. Lock that one in. Also, if you join the Discord server, you can get at everyone by me.
That's true.
Whenever I want to.
Yeah, and you want to give Pillar that power, because if he doesn't get that kind of power, then he starts to turn his megalomaniacal instincts outward on the world. All sorts of ways. Yeah, so we got to keep him under control.
Shout out us, right? Because no promises, but next episode should be another guest episode, I think.
Yeah, guest time. But yeah, I've been TSD Talks.
I have and continue to be a pillar of garbage.
And this has been the Pillar of Garbage podcast.
Bye.